What's up, everybody? My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Umineko When They Cry Answers Arc. I'm sorry that I didn't post this yesterday. I was having some issues that don't really need to be talked about the other day, so I wasn't able to get it out on time. But to make up for it, I'm going to, I'm posting this one today, and I'm posting another one as usual tomorrow, so it's going to be 2 days in a row. Gets us back on schedule because so, yeah, whatever. Either way, last episode, Eva Beatrice returned, and George fought and basically, actually killed her. And we were also introduced to, the fucking goofballs, Zepar and Furfur, I think their names were. Furfur, Zepar, yeah. So one's a guy, and they're both kind of obnoxious. So that's very fun. Either way, I don't know where this is going from now. Oh yeah, Jessica's supposed to do her trial next, but I don't know if that's going to be, like, immediately. But either way, I'm looking forward to see who she's going to fight. Whatever, let's just get back into this. As usual, this year's family conference was getting bogged down. Everyone had decided to cool their heads for a moment, and a short break had been agreed upon. The four siblings could say whatever they wanted, but Natsuhi and Kyrie, for example, were outsiders, and found it difficult to speak freely in this sort of atmosphere. That would make sense, I guess. A conference where you aren't allowed to say what you want can be tiring even as you just sit there quietly. Even Kyrie couldn't help letting out a deep sigh. Alright. Hello. This was the second floor hallway of the mansion. Rudolph had wanted to be alone during the break, so she had felt like doing the same, and had drifted up the stairs to reach this place. Kyrie's expression was less tightly controlled than when her husband was around. She wore a tired look that she didn't often show. She pressed her cheek against the cool window glass. I need to regain my spirit and support my husband, even if I'm not allowed to speak. That's the duty I've won. Who is it? I don't know who's talking. Jessica. Does Jessica need to fight Kyrie? That's an oddity. Then I guess, I'm assuming that the way these trials are working, Eva died, and George had Gap put Eva Beatrice's body in the VIP room. So I can only assume that means the first Twilight, Eva is going to be one of the victims. So I'm assuming that if Jessica here is fighting Kyrie, which I don't know why she'd be fighting Kyrie of all people, whoever loses the battle is also going to be a first Twilight victim. So that's something. She suddenly sensed another person, turned around to look behind her, and saw Jessica standing at the other end of the hallway. Oh, it's you, Jessica. Didn't you go to the guest house? Well, I sort of decided to head back to my room to get a book. I see. And you're on your way back to the guest house now? Yes, that's right. Can't stand this rain. Is the wind really strong? Oh, that was Kyrie. It's weak right now, relatively speaking. As Kyrie looked out the window, Jessica watched her back, looking agitated. Aunt Kyrie, I'm sorry, but you've only got your bad luck to blame. Ah, so she does have to fight Kyrie. That's odd. Like, at least Eva with George made some sense. Especially since Eva could transform into some other supernatural character, but unless Kyrie has some other form that we've never seen. Ah, Zepar! Jessica's roulette of fate has chosen Kyrie! What will you do, Jessica? The roulette has chosen Kyrie, but you may reject that choice and spin the roulette again if you wish. It doesn't matter whose life to sacrifice for this trial. So it's all based on luck? I mean, at least Kyrie's not a weak opponent. Jessica wasn't like George. George had willingly chosen Eva to be his sacrifice, to signify his separation from his old life so that he could step into a new life married to Shannon. So it wasn't just fate or luck that chose Eva for George. However, Jessica hadn't thought of any particular target, so she had left it up to the roulette of fate. That was no exaggeration. She walked around at random, imposing a rule on herself that the first person she met would be chosen as her sacrifice. Ah, and so the rule out of fate had brought her to Kyrie. Of course, there was nothing forcing her to keep that rule. However, Jessica didn't want to break a rule she had once made, also dog bark. Even though she was participating in a demon's game, she still wanted to cling to this one last virtue. Right now, she could attack that unprotected back, but Jessica still wasn't able to fully resolve herself. I don't know what my dog's barking at. Probably a car, or a squirrel, or a gust of wind, or a paper bag, or a plastic bag drifting in the wind. Forgot the rest of the lyrics. That joke is dead now. What is she doing? Can she stop? You know what? Ignore it. I don't even know if it's audible in the recording. What is it? Do you have something to say to me? Noticing the strange distance Jessica was standing at, Kyrie turned around. I'm gonna go shut her up. Wouldn't you know it, she was barking at the mailman. And finally, my sound absorption foam pad things have come in the mail. So I'm going to set those up soon. Not immediately, but soon. So, woohoo! My sound quality should be slightly better with less background noise. Hooray! Whatever, let's continue. I already said this line, I think, but I'm gonna say it again. Noticing the strange distance Jessica was standing at, Kyrie turned around. That unprotected back was already gone. Jessica realized that her hesitation had made her lose her own first chance. She had taken on this demon's game to prove her love for Canon. However, would it really be okay to sell her soul to demons, for the sake of love? She had energetically consented to this demon's game, not wanting to let George, who had already taken an open-minded view of the situation, get any more of a lead on her, but her heart still wasn't ready. Maybe I shouldn't be asking you this, Aunt Kyrie. What is it? It's rare for you to ask me questions, Jessica. I hope I'm capable of answering them for you. Actually, I have someone I like. Oh, really? That's wonderful. Then is it love you wanted to talk about? Yeah, pretty much. Very well. I'll help out if I can. Thank you very much. Actually, is it still one-sided? No, I guess you could say that it's just become mutual. But, well, there's this trial for us to be joined together. A trial? Now, what could that be? There's the two of us and another pair of lovers, and we have to fight each other. You mean a love triangle? Or is it a square? Sounds complicated. And? Only the pair who wins can be together. It's something complicated like that. In other words... That sounds awful. A love where neither side can succeed unless they use the others as stepping stones. Yeah. If we're joined, then they'll fall apart. And the same the other way around. I think I see where you're going with this. Something like this, right? How far is a person allowed to take advantage of others to find happiness? Right? Yes. Kyrie was very smart. She had already guessed the question that Jessica had wanted to ask most. If you don't fight, it automatically becomes their victory, and you'll lose. However, if you fight and win, it means they'll fall apart. It's nasty either way. However, the answer is obvious. Kyrie is a lot like George in this sense, I think. She would actually fight, I'm pretty sure. After seeing her, like, fight with Leviathan, I think, in, Chapter 3. Yes. Kyrie giggled. If she wasn't willing to stick to her love until the end, then that would show the limits of their relationship. If that were the case, she should just let the other pair of lovers win. However, if this was a love she couldn't abandon her chances at victory either. So she had no options other than to fight. In the end, Jessica's hesitation was caused by guilt over forcing the others to split apart as a result of her inevitable decision. I guess I really am just looking for an excuse. Yes, that's what you're doing. Still, that doesn't make it any easier to step over someone else for the sake of your own love. In that case, will you give up on your lover? That's... I can tell you one thing for certain. Doing that will be even more painful. You'll be forced to crawl through hell for the rest of your life. A hardness had entered Kyrie's gaze. Ooh. Oh boy. Oh, hello, Angie. I was just 6, so I don't remember much about that time. However, I found Mom's notebook among her belongings after she died. Was it a diary? It was more a collection of her thoughts. It was much vaguer than a diary would have been. I found it and read it right after she passed away, but I needed to wait until I'd grown for several years before I could understand it. I see. So, did it speak of Kyrie's worries about her marriage? It was practically a book of curses. It cleared up several questions I'd vaguely felt back when I was 6. I see. When I was 6, it seemed as though my parents were very close and had no problems. And though I thought it odd that Battler lived separately, even though he was in our family, I accepted it as the way things were. Did you not know about Asumu? Asumu? I think Battler talked to me about her when no one was around, but it wasn't something a kid who wasn't even in elementary school could understand. After all, I never even saw a picture of her. Mom had sent all the pictures with Asumu in them to Battler, leaving none behind in the house. To Angie and to Battler, who only rarely came home, Kyrie's smile never faltered. If she hadn't written her thoughts in that notebook, Angie would probably never have known them. Since his school days, Rudolph had been particularly popular with girls, a typical playboy. Be bold, over the top, yet still just a little bit gentle towards women. He probably kept that formula for being popular with women inside his head. In their attempts to win Rudolph's favor, several women tried various seductive tricks. Rudolph probably enjoyed that part the most, as he would. Fucking Rudolph. Since the beginning, love had been a game to Rudolph. He never thought of it as a trial and error process to find a single life partner. He would intentionally spark jealousy between women, nap up their compliments, and revel in the harem. Fucking go figure, dude. He may be my father, but he was an awful man. But at the same time, Dad must have looked down on those toadying girls. Mom, who was very aware of her self-worth and extremely intelligent, must have stood out. Though even that might have been due to Kyrie's more skillful methods of catching Rudolph's gaze. Yeah, maybe. Mom was smart in a lot of ways. Like the other Ushiromiya siblings, Rudolph had strong ambitions and lofty goals. Under the mottos of, if you can pull it off, you're golden, and as long as no one finds out. He would alternate between setting up businesses that were borderline swindles or illegal, then running away. Damn. I've heard that in his college years he was already making use of that talent, thinking of shameless projects and cleverly making money through the panic selling of party tickets. So much so that he could brag about carrying a wallet full of 110,000 yen notes all the time. Many women fell for his charisma and being the man responsible for these radical projects, as well as his thick wallet and generosity. It would be a lie to say that Kyrie wasn't one of them. However, what made Kyrie very different from the other women was that she could support Rudolph as a business partner. Rudolph would make a large-scale party successful, unable to hide his laughter at this massive easy profit. The women would surround him. Among them, only Kyrie was calm and composed. She could point out several ways that income and expenditure, I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, expenditure could be improved upon, and could even lay out a proposal for the next project. So, Rudolph slowly began to accept her as a partner. Just like some people say men don't belong in the kitchen, there's also a sense that women should stay out of financial affairs. It's normal for men to foot the bill for women, and the details of how those 10,000 yen notes were scrounged up are vulgar, so they don't ask, don't know, don't care. So you're saying that Kyrie viewed money from a man's perspective. Rudolph noticed the true treasure in this part of Kyrie. He knew exactly how much hard work it took to get just one of those 10,000 yen notes. So somewhere inside him, he had looked down upon those extravagant women who never even considered the efforts he had undertaken. Of all of them, only Kyrie had possessed the same sharp financial intuition as Rudolph. Every time he thought of a new plan, he would talk to Kyrie about it, work out the kinks, and make it succeed. In this way, Kyrie steadily worked her way up until she was the #1 of Rudolph's large group of followers. But Mom was still a woman. I doubt she enjoyed seeing Dad pampered by all those other girls. So, she would rather have been his only one instead of his #1. That would make sense. Yeah. Though she served as Dad's right hand, she slyly got rid of the other women in the shadows. It was only a matter of time before Mom would succeed in her love. When did Asumu come into the picture? Oh boy. She was one of Rudolph's groupies. No, not even that. She was just one of his fans. Did you ever talk with her? Of course. I knew her well, ever since the very beginning, before Rudolph even knew her name. I'm sure she was quite intelligent herself, and cunning. I tried to use my intelligence to stick out, but she did it in the exactly opposite way. By being stupid? I mean, she was good at triggering his protective instinct. Out of all the girls who came to flatter and flirt with him, only she stood out with every action she made, unlike the flashy girls Rudolph had tired of. Kyrie still acknowledges the mistake she made in letting Asumu and Rudolph get too close. Kyrie had thought that taking the role of Rudolph's business partner meant she would have him all to herself. That might have been due to her pride, and it might have been her arrogance, as she tried to eliminate the relationships between all the other girls and Rudolph. Perhaps she sometimes tried too hard as a business partner, putting too much pressure on him, regardless of the fact that it was justified. The fact that they just called her prideful there, I'm starting to think that, okay, that just triggered a thought about the 7 deadly sins. I'm not sure exactly how much importance they really have to, like, the solution to this game, but I feel like there's something more with the stakes of purgatory that we haven't found out yet, and that the 7 deadly sins have something to do with all the family members. Because it seems like a lot of them seem to constantly die from the same few stakes every now and then. Like, I don't remember who dies from who, but I think Rudolph died to Asmodeus once, and that's lust, so of course that makes sense for Rudolph. I think Canon seems to always, like, if he dies from a stake, it's always Satan's stake, which is wrath. So there's something about Canon that's wrathful. But then again, if Shannon and Canon are the same person, does it really matter what stake they die to? I don't remember what stake Shannon usually dies from. Is it Satan? I don't know. I'd have to actually check. Questions are... Actually, would it show... If I go to System and Tips... Can I... no, of course it wouldn't. I'd have to actually check a list. Like, I'd have to reinstall the Questions Arc game just to check and see who died to which stake in each game. But whatever. Perhaps she sometimes tried too hard as a business partner, putting too much pressure on him regardless of the fact that it was justified. Bit by bit, Rudolph had started to need a woman who could stay quiet and soothe him, without making him think about anything complicated. That woman was Asumu. I'm ruthless and intellectual, rational and economical. In a plank of Carnity's situation, I would push the other person off without hesitation. I thought that was the kind of partner suitable for him. What's Carnity's? However, though that ruthlessness had made her reliable on the business side of things... Oh, she's not talking. However, though that ruthlessness had made her reliable on the business side of things, it might have disturbed Rudolph deeply outside of business. At some point, though Rudolph still acknowledged Kyrie's skill, he began to yearn for a quiet, warm acceptance. Asumu had satisfied all of those conditions. She would never talk about anything complicated. Even if he did, she would just shake her head to say she didn't know. However, she would care more for him physically than anyone else, quietly putting a blanket on him and staying by his side until morning. Yes, I did get the position of his business partner, but before I knew it, Rudolph had grown a need for a mental partner, someone who could heal his heart. Though I foolishly claimed to be the intellectual one, I never noticed. I need to keep on clearing my throat. I'm not sure why. And then Uncle Rudolph married Aunt Asumu? Yes, that's right. She stole him away by sleeping with him. He had slept with a lot of women,
By that point, he wasn't the kind of guy to let his emotions be captured by a woman just because he slept with her. After all, sleeping with women was just a game to him. That's why I used something other than my body to attract his attention.
Huh.
What pride has a woman? Before long, they were both pregnant. Asumu told Dad about it right away, but Mom did the opposite. So she was afraid that the pregnancy would threaten her position as his business partner. Apparently, Mom didn't eat much at the time, so her period was often irregular. Because of that, it took a really long time before she realized she was pregnant. When did she notice? It was after Asumu suddenly moved into Dad's family register.
I'm still really confused about the whole pregnancy thing between Asumu and Kyrie, because as far as we know, as far as the story's saying, Asumu gave birth to Battler, Kyrie had a miscarriage. But the thing is, if you look at Angie and Battler, and this might just be a design thing, but I feel like the fact that their hair is the same color, and I believe their eyes are the same color too, that would imply they have the exact same set of parents. Not to mention in Game 4, in the 4th game, Battler was unable to say that he was the son of Asumu, which would mean he's the son of Kyrie. But then how exactly did Rudolph manage to make Kyrie think she had a miscarriage when she gave birth? Like, come on. That doesn't really make any sense to me, but I feel like that had to have happened somehow.
Mom learned about her pregnancy after that, and plotted several times to split Asumu and Dad apart, but... Even though Asumu always acted like such an airhead, when she got her hands on Rudolph, she didn't let go. "Why should I care? Please stay out of our way," she'd say. And this is coming from that little girl who would curl up into a ball every time she got on a bus. At that point, I realized she had been the truly cunning one. Yes, even her fear of vehicles was another lie to catch Rudolph's sympathy.
Ah. Interesting.
My apologies. I must be boring you. Oh, no! At the very least, I wanted him to acknowledge the child I would give birth to. It seems as though Rudolph was prepared to do that. He made sure there was a hospital waiting for me, and even though Asumu was close to giving birth herself, he gallantly came to see me. Even though she was already his wife. What an awful man, really.
Oh, maybe she thought the baby died during childbirth? I guess in that case, yeah, that would make sense. But then Asumu's is actually the one that died during childbirth. So Kyrie gave birth first to Battler, and then he just lied like, sorry, they didn't make it. And she just like, shit, miscarriage. And then Asumu actually had a miscarriage, and then he was just like, whoop-de-doo, here he is. After that is a tale I can't even bear to tell. Both Asumu and I had the same delivery date. Uh-huh. And yet her pregnancy had meant her marriage, where mine was completely meaningless. I swore to bring up my child well and have Rudolph acknowledge it. Yeah. The fight between Asumu and me ended with my loss. However, I wasn't down for the count. If I could make my child excel far more than Asumu's, if I could make it fully acknowledged by Rudolph, I would be rewarded. That's what I believed.
However, that child was a stillbirth. Yeah, Asumu gave birth to Battler. But Mom didn't give birth to anyone. Even Mom's final hope of being left a spot as Dad's second wife was destroyed.
Kyrie had fallen from being his partner to being his second wife, and then, unable to give birth to the bond of a child, she tumbled down to being merely his mistress. I can't imagine how much he must have hated Asumu and that kid, Battler. But Battler's Kyrie's kid. So Kyrie gave birth to Battler, and Asumu had a miscarriage, or maybe there was another kid, and maybe that other kid was Shannon/Canon. Wouldn't that be something? That's probably wrong, but whatever. It's probably... Shannon and Canon is... Well, then again, that kid died. Like, the man from 19 years ago, I was thinking that might be Shannon and Canon. Like, if they're the same person, which at this point I'm basically convinced that they are. Shannon and Cannon could be the man from 19 years ago, but as far as we know, they died after falling off the cliff along with that servant. Unless they did survive, and Kinzo hid that fact. And then they grew up to be Shannon and Cannon, and that one's an orphan, which it is possible that if Shannon and Cannon were birthed by Asumu, that Rudolph gave that one up for adoption. Because it's very, very unlikely that Rudolph was thinking, okay, Asumu's gonna have a miscarriage, Kyrie's gonna give birth, I'm gonna do a swapperoo. But, yeah, if they both gave birth to a actual living baby, then that would make sense. It would just depend on the birthday. Because Battler's birthday, from what I remember, is July 15th. Right? Sometime in July? And I think the only reason I remember that is because he mentioned that with the bank pin in, Chapter 3, which I'm still confused why that was written on the door, but whatevs. I'm sure there will be some clue towards that eventually. But whatever. Alright, who's talking?
And despite that, Mom was able to act in a very friendly way towards Battler. It was definitely a shock for me to think that my gentle mother had held such negative emotions for Battler and had managed to hide them. She must have despised Battler. Probably. If Asumu had a stillbirth and Mom had given birth to Battler, history might have changed in some way. Had that been the case, it seems she would have wanted to set up some scenario in which she'd make Dad divorce Asumu and marry her instead. Was that also written in the book where she kept her thoughts? Yeah. After all, that was just a random thought, a delusion. Mom's resentment as she chewed on the corner of her tear-stained bedsheets. There's just one thing I regret. You mean the pregnancy? No. It's my arrogance I regret. Rudolph is mine now, so I'm completely safe. I'll never lose to that Asumu kid. When she was busy screaming her head off on buses and planes, I was capable of properly managing the arrangements and expenditures for them. And so, I was overly confident that I was the one Rudolph trusted the most. They say love needs to be nurtured, right? Yeah. And that's not wrong. The two of you need to water it, care for it, and nurture it. And in the end, it will finally bear the fruit called love. Did you know? Love doesn't end when it bears fruit. If you don't harvest it as well, the romance you started with will never amount to anything. Harvest it? You need to think about that yourself, Jessica. If you make it bear fruit without harvesting it, it can sometimes grow rotten. And bugs will often gather around it. In fact, sometimes thieves will come by and pluck it off the branch. Young kids like you, Jessica, need to think that love ends with nurturing. Young kids like you, Jessica, think that love ends with nurturing. That is naive. If you don't harvest it, you will never be rewarded for your love. Harvest love. At a glance, it may seem to be a matter just between the pair of lovers, but that isn't true. Putting off the harvest because you assume you can do it at any time just gives thieves a chance. What if that fruit you've worked so hard to nurture gets pulled off the branch the next morning? You'll regret that you didn't choose to harvest it the previous day instead of complaining. That regret really hurts. It'll make you crawl through hell. I'm lucky. My hell ended after 18 years. So, I'll never misjudge myself again. That person is mine. I won't let him get away. I won't let him out of my sight. And I'm grateful to my master for giving me that chance.
Your master?
My certain willpower in not giving up on that man no matter what was answered with a miracle.
By now, Jessica was speechless and didn't even urge Kyrie to continue. Kyrie's master? This true form of love that Kyrie was telling her about was far more harsh than anything she had imagined.
Right now, I would do anything to keep Rudolph by my side, and I will show no mercy against his enemies. If he wished it, I might not even hesitate at murder. And because I finally resolved myself to doing that on the 18th year, that certain willpower brought about a miracle for me. You know, miracles only appear for those who can bring them to completion themselves.
Asumu's death had not been a murder of any sort. However, Kyrie had constantly cursed her and hoped for her death.
And finally, on the 18th year, she had built up the determination to kill her with her own hands. And she actually had gotten herself a blade to do the deed with. That was when the miracle had occurred. Aunt Asumu passing away was a miracle. Wrong. That wasn't even close to a miracle. Huh? After all, if she hadn't died, I would have killed her. In other words, she was fated to die no matter what. The miracle is that, even though she did die, I didn't have to get my hands dirty. That's all. Until now, Kyrie had never shown Jessica. No, she had never even shown Rudolph that glint in the deepest depths of her eyes. It told plainly and clearly that romance and love are not the sweet and fluffy candies that young girls imagine them to be. Jessica was overwhelmed by that pressure and stunned silent, and she had to acknowledge it. This was the power of will that could make love be realized. With the force of this willpower, Kyrie had supported Rudolph as a wife, and it was the same as George's. He had already developed and proven that he had the willpower to oppose all obstacles to love between different classes. Right now, Jessica could clearly understand. This was the magnitude of George's determination, which had allowed him to coldly carry out his part of the trial. Then, what about her? Did she really have the resolve to make her love with Canon bear fruit, and to then harvest that fruit? I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a little advice, and I've scared you. Blame the weather. I just wanted to pressure you a bit, but I've gone overboard. Kyrie let a relaxed smile rise to her face. The tense atmosphere finally slackened. However, her words had been gouged into Jessica's heart. I don't know what your love has been like, Jessica, but if you have a rival and neither is willing to back down, you can't let yourself become complacent. If you do, you'll end up like me. For the sake of love, a woman should be prepared to kill at least once in her life. I can tell you that all women in the world who call themselves mothers have been through that. After all, women who don't do that are chewed to bits by the others and forced to crawl through the hell of envy and regret for the rest of their lives. My hell lasted 18 years. I was lucky to be pardoned after just 18 years. That hell is still filled with women who will never get out until they die, unless they execute themselves in their regret. How should I put it? I have nothing to say. I was trying to cheer you on, but here I've gone and scared you too much. I'm truly sorry. Love can be much more easygoing than that, okay? Love really is like playing with fire. Anyone can play easily and lightheartedly, but when you mess up and get burned, that scar stays with you your whole life.
Regrets from love never fade. That was all that Kyrie had been trying to communicate. It wasn't like Kyrie to start telling stories from her past, stories you would normally expect her to avoid, instead of giving a brief answer. However, Kyrie might have thought Jessica deserved to hear. Jessica had timidly brought up the subject of love. Perhaps Kyrie had opened up and told everything because she had seen the fires of Jessica's determination in her eyes.
Okay, I need to head back soon. Let's keep what we've talked about a secret, okay?
With a mysterious smile on her face, Kyrie turned around. I wonder if I scared her too much. Still, it's 100 times better to learn of that hell from a warning. Once you've fallen into it, it's already too late. Good luck, Jessica. It sounds complicated, but don't lose. It's not every day I get to act as a mentor.
What is it, Jessica?
What the? Okay. Jessica is fucking a deadly force now. Huh. A windstorm grazed Kyrie's head. It had been a hair's breadth away. If Kyrie hadn't twisted her body slightly, that fist would probably be buried in her face by now. A bitter smile rose to Jessica's face when she saw that her first strike had failed to land a kill.
Just so you know, I didn't strike you unawares out of cowardice. I hope to end it with a single painless strike before you realized what was happening. Didn't I tell you that I've lived through the hell of jealousy? I've been nearly burned a couple times already. I know how it feels just before a surprise attack. You mean you could sense it? That plus the lie you told in the beginning. A lie. Come now. If you had come from the guest house to get a book from your room, you wouldn't have come through this hallway in that direction. Of the 7 reasons you might have had for lying, which chessboard theory led me to, this was the worst case scenario.
Oh boy. Kyrie, you fucking smart aleck. Telling a hasty lie to Kyrie would only put her on her guard. If Jessica hadn't told that lie, her surprise attack would have succeeded.
Not bad. I should have expected it from you, Aunt Kyrie.
And the music's about to go ham because the bomb's about to fucking go off.
Why? You were planning to kill me from the beginning. It didn't matter who it was. How horrible.
And it just happened to be Kyrie. That was probably the most difficult one you could have gotten, except for maybe, like, I don't know, Goda? Because Goda just seems like a total powerhouse.
It's what you said that gave me the boost I needed. Thanks a lot.
Oh boy.
What?
Kyrie dodged the punch, placed her hand against that fist, and slammed it against the wall. Normally, Jessica would have hurt her hand on the wall and rolled around clutching at it in pain. However, Jessica's fist had left what looked like a meter-wide crater in the wall. Instead of wearing a look of anguish, Jessica clicked her tongue in irritation at having missed. Show me anguish!
No. Incredible. I see that you are your father's daughter. Have you taken up boxing too?
Oh yeah, Kraus was a boxer, wasn't he? Impossible. Jessica's barehanded. She isn't holding any sort of weapon at all.
Please don't resist, Aunt Kyrie. Just one strike to the head. I won't let you feel a thing.
Kyrie tried to look confident, but she couldn't hide her confusion at this unreal destructive force. If that punch had hit, her head probably would have split open like Jessica had said, killing her without any pain.
Here I go.
Well, this is something, ain't it? If Kyrie's kick off the ground and backward leap had been an instant slower, her gut would probably have been pulverized. Though she had avoided it by a hair, Jessica's left body blow was followed by a terrible burst of wind, like an explosion, which blew Kyrie back.
Is this a dream? Am I still sleeping? I don't understand.
This Jessica looked like the normal Jessica, but something was different. It wasn't human, and common sense didn't apply to it. This had to be some kind of nightmare. Kyrie slowly stood up. Then she looked at Jessica, noticed the several meters between them, and realized just how far that blast of wind had sent her flying.
Feel free to hate me. However, just like you, I cannot back down. I can't let my love end half-baked either. What are you talking about? Hey, what are you saying? What on earth is going on? Someone, tell me!
I thought she would be a tough opponent for Jessica. The scene around Jessica seemed to bend like a heat wave. It seemed to be enshrouding her fists. And it seemed as though something like a red magic circle had appeared beneath her feet. It looked just like a western demon standing amidst the flames of hell. Oh boy.
Flame upgrade. Mass upgrade. Armor-piercing upgrade.
Each time Jessica muttered, her fists were surrounded by a pulsating, sinister red light. Oh my god. Those fists, which were actually smoking, surely represented the iron hammers of hell wielded by demons.
Goodbye! This is just a nightmare.
I thought Kyrie would fight back. Kyrie dashed away with lightning speed. Yes, right now that was her best option. Fortunately, she was smart enough to realize that pinching her cheek wasn't the best way to wake up from this nightmare.
Run away.
Oh boy. Did that just trap Kyrie? When Jessica muttered once more, a blood-red magical barrier cut across the corridor. Kyrie slammed into it hard and realized that her path of escape had been cut off.
Make this stop. I don't understand. This is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Let me wake up quickly.
Oh boy.
Yes, this is a nightmare. If you want, I'll wake you up right now. Just one strike. Don't move.
Wielding her flames, Jessica slowly stepped forward towards her. Each time her foot lifted off the floor, a scorching steam hung around her footprint. This was a true nightmare. Kyrie clutched her head in her hands, shaking it over and over again.
It's a nightmare, right? This is a nightmare, isn't it? Please, tell me it is! Yeah, it's a nightmare. It is, right? It's a nightmare, right? Ah! I acknowledge it. This is a nightmare. I do too! I acknowledge that this is a nightmare, so... I'll wake you up. Just one strike. Ah!
Screaming is not something I'll do. Why? What you doing, Leviathan? Did that just kill Jessica? Jessica's neck was twisted at an odd angle, and she staggered backwards, her eyes white, as though she didn't have a clue what had just happened. Motorcycle gunman. In her forehead, a demon stake was buried at an angle. Huh. It pulled itself out of her, spun around, then became Leviathan and landed. The hole left behind in Jessica's head spewed blood.
Leviathan of Envy, right here! If we're already inside a nightmare, why not have a friend from my nightmare show up? My friend from the Hell of Envy. Thanks for showing up just in the nick of time.
Okay. So this is where the supernatural shit on Kyrie's side comes in.
It's too early to thank me. She's not down yet.
Even though she had taken a deep gouge to the top of her head, Jessica just stood there, convulsing and wide-eyed, and didn't fall over. The blood stopped pouring out of her forehead, and her blank, doll-like eyes returned. Then she slowly pressed her own hand against the wound in her forehead. There was a sizzle, as though she had pressed a hot iron against it. It was easy to tell that she was doing this to seal up the wound. If Kyrie didn't escape now, there would never be another chance.
Can I defeat her?
No such luck. She's immortal, thanks to a contract with one of the great demons. Huh.
Because of love! That's why she's immortal. Yes, love is magnificent! Those with our blessings cannot be killed! Can we break through that red magic wall? Veronave is also a great demon. There's nothing I can do. Can we escape through the window? That was blocked by Ronave's barrier a while ago. Incredible. So, has she sold her soul to demons for the sake of love? How could she make so many contracts with great demons? I'm so jealous!
Oh boy.
Armor upgrade. All attribute defense. Counterattacking armor upgrade.
In response to these words, this time her entire body pulsated with a red light. She had upgraded herself with a defensive power that would prevent Leviathan's attacks from working again.
What's she talking about? Self-augmentation. It's a kind of enchantment. Right now, she has enough defensive power to stop me from piercing her. And she even has the ability to reflect that damage back upon the attacker. She's no longer human. She's a monster! Oh, so that's all. Then not much has changed. How can you say that? Just like in the very beginning, we still have no chance of winning.
Oh, Kyrie said that.
Yeah, pretend I said that.
Self-augmentation, so she's just all for one right now.
That hurt, but it won't work again.
Jessica slowly lifted the hand that had been covering her forehead, and there was no longer any hole there. The hall was cut off by barriers on both sides, and even the windows were sealed. There was no way out.
Is the door to this room sealed? No, it's just locked. But it's just a normal room. It does have a window, but that's already been sealed. In other words, it's a closed room. And a coffin for us! A coffin is just what I need. Unlock it. I'm jealous. Why are you the only one who can unlock it?
Leviathan's stake flew about at high speeds, ramming itself into the keyhole to that room. The tip of the stake had become a key. That's something you can do? Okay, sure. As soon as it was unlocked, the door flew open. Oh, this is Krause's room. Both of them fell into the room and quickly locked it. This was probably Krause's study. Its soothing furnishings brought about a sense of nobility that Krause would probably like.
Even if you lock the door, she can just smash through it with one punch. You've just put the lid on your own coffin. However, if she wants to land a killing blow on us inside this coffin, she'll have to take the lid off first.
With dim eyes, Jessica tilted her head upon hearing Kyrie's words.
What are you talking about? How will such a small room be able to protect you, Aunt Kyrie? This room may be a closed room. It may leave us with no method of escape. However, even you can't break into this room. That's what a closed room is. What are you talking about? How does this tiny room, with its tiny door, make you think you can escape me?
Jessica wearily looked between her own burning fists and the door with a confused expression on her face. Then slowly, she sent that pulsating red light to her fists. She repeatedly enchanting her fists to give them the destructive power for the killing blow.
I'll smash this door to bits. If you think you can, give it a try. Kyrie!
After sealing the door and calmly saying those words, Kyrie placed a single index finger on the door. Jessica slowly raised her fiery demon's fist. What, is she just gonna fucking hamon into her finger and kill her?
So long, Aunt Kyrie. Kyrie! Uh-oh.
Jessica's fist slammed into the door in slow motion. And this is just a fucking new song. It was like the decisive scene in a movie was being acted out. Oh, it's even photo negative. However, this was no act. Jessica's fists really were, slowing down as though they were being sucked in, like a spoon sinks through a jar of honey. That punch was no longer a punch. It was no more than a knock.
I envy you. Envy. I crawled through the hell of envy for 18 years because of my arrogance and naivety in love. So I envy you. You're going to remember my warning, succeed in love, and walk a beautiful life. Right? I envy you. You'll get to live through the most beautiful time in a woman's life, for a full 18 years longer than I did. I envy you so much.
Jessica tried to slam her fist against the door over and over again. However, as soon as her fist approached it, its speed plummeted. She could barely knock, much less smash the door. Punch the wall. Speed upgrade. Instantaneous force upgrade. Speed of sound upgrade.
It's useless, girl.
Smash it! With full speed upgrades, Jessica's fist moved at the speed of sound, 1,225 kilometers per hour. However, how long had Jessica been in envy to gain that speed? She had started to envy George and Shannon's relationship about 2 years ago. 2 times 365 equals 730 days. 730 times 24 equals 17,520 hours. However, she wasn't envious all the time. It only happened when Shannon started going on about with George. With Shannon's shift on about 3 days of the week, divided by 7 times 3. And it wasn't as though she would go on about George all day long. Her fond words for him would only leave a mark on Jessica for about an hour, right? So only 1/24th of each day. 17,520 divided by 7 times 3 divided by 24 equals 312, removing the fractional part. The number of hours that Kyrie had been jealous was 157,680. In other words, this wasn't even 0.2% of the time Kyrie had been jealous. Even 1,225 kilometers per hour, the speed of sound, becomes only 2.45 kilometers per hour in the 1/500 world.
Understand? You're lacking in both love and jealousy.
Even if she increased the speed of her fist, in Kyrie's world, Jessica couldn't make it any faster than a walking child. Jessica ground her teeth, her fist still pressed against the door. If someone could have seen this from both sides of the door, it would have looked as though Kyrie was holding it shut with a single finger.
Way to go, Kyrie! See, this room is a closed room. At most, Jessica can knock on the door, but she can't lay a finger on us inside.
Beatrice's definition of a closed room.
What the heck is that?
At this rate, this closed room will be troublesome indeed. It is impossible for a human to carry out a closed room murder. Only magic can do that. Until you truly understand magic, you will not be able to crush it.
Jessica can't corner me any further. As time passes, the relatives will eventually realize that I haven't returned, and they'll start searching the mansion. Then, you will be observed. Both witches and magic disappear when they're observed. The nightmare's already over, girl. Damn it. Oh, I can't believe that Jessica's suddenly getting eliminated. Oh, please give it your all. Do it for your beloved canon.
Come, Jessica, believe in love and show us a miracle.
I revised that. There isn't even any need to wait for time to pass. After all, there's an internal phone line right here. Of course, the line hasn't been cut. I'll just pick up this receiver. This is my checkmate. Construction completed. Closed room murder.
My, I do believe that's valid.
Permeation upgrade.
Oh, she just had to think of a... I see. In order to... according to the rules of the game, in order for her to commit this closed room murder, she had to think of a way it would be possible for a human? I see.
Attack transmission. Indirect attack power upgrade. Huh?
Jessica's fist, which was pressed against the door, glowed red and then white hot. Oh boy. Rip Kyrie. Jessica didn't even swing her fist. She just kept it pressed against the door. However, Jessica's murder extended within the closed room. Through the crack in the door, through the keyhole, burst the flames of hell. Jessica couldn't see what was happening inside the room. However, even here, on the other side of the door, she could tell that the flames of hell had swallowed the entire room. Kyrie's smoldering death throes could be heard from across the door. Jessica clearly heard as Kyrie danced the dance of death amidst the hellfire, fell to her knees, and slumped over to the floor. Slowly, Jessica tore her burning fist away from the door.
If you love the hell of envy so much, then burn. Burn in the flames of envy, for all time. There are probably some things that can be learned from envy. However, it's nothing to be praised, and going through it is no one's duty. It seems you were too proud after all, Aunt Kyrie.
Well, congratulations, you won. A splendid closed-room murder.
I'll let you take care of the mess. I'd hate for a corpse to be burnt to a crisp when it's finally found. Do you think you could clean it up?
As you wish, milady. Ronove transformed into a gold butterfly and entered Krause's study through the keyhole. Then he had to cross his arms and think about how he should even start cleaning up Kyrie's unrecognizable corpse in this room that had ended up as a burning hell. Well, you won. Jessica finally let out the breath that she had been holding down in her chest. Her normal human glint finally returned to her eyes, and then she couldn't help but shudder at what she'd done, even if it had just been a trial on the game board for the sake of her love.
Is that good enough, demons?
Yes, well done, Jessica. Your love is the real deal. George welcomed Jessica with a crisp applause. Beato timidly tried to join him, but Jessica yelled at her and she stopped.
It's just something that happened on the game board. There's no need to look so sad about it.
I know that logically, but still, how am I supposed to just accept it emotionally?
Milady.
Canon, I love you. I can't give up. That's why I've shown you how I feel. I didn't do something wrong, did I? I'm not wrong, am I?
Milady.
As Jessica started to sob, Canon held her quietly, and he realized that he would have to carry on the determination she had shown him.
You didn't make any mistakes, and it also wasn't a mistake to keep your human heart and be sad. I just happen to be a bit more of a stoic when it comes to that sort of thing.
Not everyone can match up to George's level. But in any event, you have completed your trial, milady. Well done. I admire the strength of your determination. I see. Both George and Jessica have splendidly succeeded just the same. Very impressive, Jessica. That closed-room murder just now was wonderful enough to fascinate even a witch like myself. Jessica had used magic to kill Kyrie, who would hold up inside a closed room. In that instant, Jessica had constructed a closed-room murder. had it acknowledged by the demons and raised it to the level of magic.
Your 2 trials have been completed. So then, who will take the next challenge? Will it be Beatrice? No, it might be Shannon. No, this has to be Cannon's time to shine.
Come, speak up. Who is next? Who will take the next trial? What witch would hesitate at committing murder on the game board? Even shyness can kill love.
Alright, who will carry out the next murder of love?
The 3 who remained looked at each other. If none of the others raised their hands in the next few seconds, they would raise their own hand. All 3 thought this at the same time. So, they all raised their hands at the same time. The ones they loved had already shown their determination. They had to carry on. Oh. Another pretty short chapter, I guess. Or scene, whatever. I don't know what they're actually called. Alright, so now it is 12... Oh, fuck. 12, 14, 13, 12, 12. Okay. Well, that was actually pretty cool. I wasn't expecting Kyrie, but I'm glad it was still challenging for Jessica, even though I thought that Kyrie would put up more of a fight. Oh, hello, Rosa. No, Rosa would have put up the biggest fight, probably, actually. After her shit at the end of Chapter 2. Jesus Christ. But either way, I think that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Actually, I know that's going to be it. If you liked the video, be sure to press the like button. And if you didn't like it, fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!